Hello, welcome to a special edition of the Journey into Mental Health. We're here with my therapist again, Werner Buxton. I hope I'm not over here judoing names today. And we're going to be talking a lot about him, hopefully joining us in part of this session, but we're also going to be talking about a lot of relationship issues and other things that are associated with some of the problems we run into as we go along life with our families. I think addiction is always on the list. So, hey, before we take too much time, you know me, I always like to bring them in early. Mr. Buxton, how we doing today?
I'm doing great, Pertis. How about yourself, man?
Man,
I'm
I
awesome,
can't
man.
complain.
Awesome,
I'm good.
awesome. Glad to be here.
All
Glad
right.
to be here.
So again, like I said, I wanted you to kind of take over today.
Okay.
You had some great topics.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let you take the lead.
Yeah, I want to talk about a couple of topics. Pertis, what it is man, a lot of just seeing people in my day-to-day walk. It's a couple of things.
Yeah.
A lot of things, anger. A lot of people are dealing with anger, man. So I want to hit on anger.
Yeah.
Addiction is running rampant. You know what I'm saying? It's such a thing, and I think we talk about that all the time about how all those things play into just play into life. You know what I'm saying? And also attachment. Attachment. A lot of times people don't know that word attachment, but we're in a lot of relationship issues. We be like, what's going on? Why this person is? Because kind of like when we start dating and all that stuff like that, it's usually because of mutual attraction.
Yeah.
And once we kind of get settled and all the smoke leaves, then we're dealing with all these other issues. And I think something I talked to you about before, we're all like a product of how we were raised.
Right,
and attachment really kind of goes into that and why we do different things. So you got 3 different forms of attachment. So hitting on those different areas, and I think it's gonna kind of bring a light and it kind of help you understand if you want to, because a lot of times it's that, like I said, the nature of human being, we kind of selfish by nature. So a lot of times our relationships are like that because we don't want to put in the work. So
man, you kind of talking. You talking what I was speaking about in my previous show, the audit.
Okay.
That selfishness.
Yeah.
And I relate that to narcissism.
Okay.
When you look at the definition as it is, it talks about somebody really concerns about themselves.
Yeah, a narcissistic. Now we can have narcissistic tendencies, and a narcissist is a different person. A narcissist want to take the world over. That's one way you go.
That ain't in the definition.
Now, narcissist. That's what it comes down to. Most of narcissists want now narcissistic tendencies. Are what you're saying. Selfishness is a narcissistic tendency.
That's like they talking about the definition.
Right now, the definition of a narcissist. That's a person, man, that don't have any kill. People are only pawns.
Now we're gonna have to look that up now.
Yeah, they only pawns.
We gotta look that up.
They only pawns, man. Yeah, a narcissistic person. So like a person can be selfish and not be a self-serving person. Narcissistic person, man, is a person. They almost like on a line with a sociopath. And that's a whole different kind of person.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say now. I've read this definition 1,000 times, and this is where me and my therapist is gonna disagree right here.
Yeah.
We're gonna disagree on this one. I don't think a narcissist is trying to take over the world.
Yeah.
Per se.
A narcissistic person. Yeah.
We're gonna give him a chance to explain that.
Yeah.
But now narcissism, as it is.
Yes, narcissism.
It says excessive interest in or admiration of oneself. And one's physical appearance.
Grandiose attitude. They have a
that's
grandiose.
what they say.
I'm gonna get you. I don't have one now.
Self-admiration, self-love, vanity. That's what the similar words are. So now that sounds like somebody who loved him a lot too much. A little bit, not a little bit too much. Well, a lot too much. People are
only like to them. People are only pawns. People are only used to serve them. That's what a narcissistic person is.
So my question is, if they only love them, how is that taking over the world?
But they want to be over everything. Everything is about them. The world exists for their purpose. They don't exist to live in the world. They live for the world exists only for them. That's what a person is narcissist. So in a relationship, so me and you in a relationship, we friends, but you only live to serve me. My job is never to take care of you.
I'm going to agree to disagree and agree because I can see how a narcissism, all about me attitude needs the world to serve them.
Right.
Like a king.
That's how they
queen.
Think. Tell the truth, Pertis, they don't. It's not because they're trying to do it. That's just how they believe the world is. They just that's their natural inclination.
Likes and shares, people.
That's just how they feel, man.
They need likes and shares. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Because it say it's all about me, self-love. But when we overdo it,
right.
You know, like I can't hate myself, but I need to have a comfortable level of love in me, so that I don't let the world misuse me. You know, so I think that is where you balance it. Don't let the world misuse you. Love yourself. But I think when we start getting into that, I love me too much. I spent 3 hours trying to do makeup. You know, I didn't tried on 15 dresses or 15 different pairs of, pairs of pants and shirts, trying to get the perfect look every day. I think that's when we go into that narcissism, that too much self-love, to now where it's kind of like OCD.
It can be borderline on that. Yeah. And what all I would ask a person, if you was coming to see me as a therapist, is the why. I'm always about the why. Why? You know, where does that come from? What is the need to do that on that level? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm always looking at. So anything like that, I'm not saying narcissism. Being a person that's a narcissist is bad. You know what I'm saying? Not bad. It's not good. It's challenging. Okay, I don't say bad. We don't say bad.
It's challenging.
Now, a degree of self-love, having self-love, you need that. But I have to also ask about the why when it gets to a point when it's extreme. Because anything extreme can be too much. Anything. It don't matter if you're working out. But if you're working out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's extreme. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I always look at those kind of things. I always look for the why. I always look for the root. Everything starts at the root.
And I'm trying to get to the understanding of the what they call it, moderation of everything. So whether it be self-love moderation, like I love peanut M&Ms. Moderation. Sometimes I just have to not buy them. Because if they present, I'm gonna have my hand in there.
So that's self-knowledge. You know, knowing yourself. That's it in anything. That's why I think I told you before. It's always about awareness. That's what that's the reason I want to do this show, is because once you're aware of it, now guess what? It's back to what? My choice. That's what it's always coming down. Choice got what? Consequences. It's a price. So if I choose the M&Ms and I choose to eat the M&Ms all the time, it's a consequence that's gonna come from that. I'm gonna get sick. My blood sugar gonna go up. I'm gonna gain weight. All these things come from that. But I still have that choice. Well, I can eat what I deserve to eat these. I had a hard day at work. I deserve to eat all these M&Ms. Now, but basically, and then I can go blame the M&M company. I can go and sue the M&M and say they putting these harsh chemicals.
Me fat.
Yeah, they did
my
too,
blood
man.
Pressure.
It was just too tempting, but it's a choice, man. And so my thing is always to get it back to the basic things. It's always choose. We got free choice. We got free will.
Man, you brought up something so important, and I think it really goes back to the way I'm approaching life now. Awareness.
Awareness, man.
See, a lot of people are not aware. Excuse my language in therapy. They not aware they assholes. Just real talk. I don't have another word for that. Because they are.
We call it buttholes. I told my kids butthole.
Butthole. Okay. That's a little cleaner.
Okay. So we told my daughter. You know, but this is what I tell you about my daughter. I told my daughter when they was growing up, I said, baby, when you see a person that's a butthole, just like using your word, I said, always look for the word. I said, you're not born a butthole. You're born with a butthole. You're not born a butthole. Ooh. So bringing it back to the thing, it always go back to where did it start? Seeking to understand and not to be understood. We want people to understand us all the time, but we don't seek to do it because guess what? We're selfish by nature. We just want to know, hey, why they treating me bad? Why? And it's not saying I'm doing it for that reason. It's just to be able to understand. And a lot of times people never try to seek to understand people.
So what do you think about me bringing that to their awareness?
I think it's if you're bringing it to a point. This is just me. I'm bringing it to a point to try to help them. If I'm just bringing it to a point to say, man, you got some ugly shoes, and I'm bringing it to a point that I want to help you with it because I know that everything else you got on is great, but then you just your shoe stuff is bad. then I'm trying to help you, but I'm just doing it to just talk about you. That's my thing. If I'm not doing it to help you. You know what I'm saying? If I really think that your breath is bad, I'm not gonna tell you in front of everybody else. I'm just gonna bring it to the side. No, sir. I got no. But if I'm doing it to help you, man, I'm gonna bring it to the side and say, hey, man, maybe you have some sinus problems. And I want to work on, talking to you. Until you do that, now when you talk to somebody, you kind of hold your hand on your mouth.
Did you chitlin sandwich this morning?
Because that's what that's what I look at it, man. Awareness
and that's caring
to help. Then I really care, and that's what you talk about all the time. That's a lost thing in the community, man. We're taking care of ourselves. We're not really worrying about anybody, and not just talking about my public community. I'm just talking about people in general, men, ladies, sharpening each other, helping each other. Hey, if I saw this guy one time. He was talking about his girlfriend was dumb, and I was like, well, you dumb. I said, because if she's your girlfriend and she's your wife and she's dumb, then guess what? That means that you have failed. Because if my dog won't sit, then it's my job to teach him how to sit. If I go around that dumb dog don't sit, I'm dumb.
I'm just warning you now. Don't ever use relationship and then dog right behind each other. Because you know how these folks are. Yeah. Did he just refer to us as training a dog? Because you know, man, you know how they hear.
Yeah.
He was not trying to say.
Seek to understand me.
He was not trying to say that you need to train your lady.
No,
he was really saying that man has not taken the time to love her right. In order to get that connection to where they flowing.
Right. It's the same way, appreciate that say. But appreciate it, it's the same way if I'm talking about. Yeah, hey, if not, man, if not, it's okay. But we supposed to, do for our, we supposed to make it better. We supposed to make it better with anybody. It's about increasing. If you work with somebody and they got all these different things and you've never told them, if I'm your friend, I should tell you, hey, how to do better. You know what I'm saying? Right. If I can. Or, hey, work with you. I told the guy, like, my wife need to lose some weight or something like that. So y'all walk together. She need to walk. Y'all need to walk.
Y'all need to walk.
Y'all need to walk. We walk together. You know what I'm saying? We walk together. We need to eat better. She need to eat better. We eat better. Yeah, we do. We're a team now. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how it is with people. We need to grow with people. So it starts with who? It starts with me. It starts with me. You know what I'm saying? It starts for me.
But they say if you want to change the world, change yourself first.
Model the atmosphere. That's like where I work at. I always tell people if I don't come to work on time, I can't talk about my people. Just because I'm the boss don't mean that I can come and show up anytime I want to and expect my people to be. I have that choice. Right. But then I don't lead by example.
Lead by example. And I think that's a good one. Right. Leading by example. We often are trying to tell other people, no, stop and don't.
Right.
And then we turn over here and go do it. And I know that happens a lot of times with parenting.
What do they say? What parents say a lot of times? Do what?
Do as I say, not as I do, or something.
But if my daddy is the first man I see, and he's my example, and no matter how bad it is, I think about my dad all the time. No matter how it is, I still want to be. My dad could throw baseball with his right hand, throw with his left hand. Even though we didn't grow up close, he's my example. I wanted to do that. My dad was real smart. He knew a lot of stuff, so I always kind of sucked trying to read all these different books and stuff. Just not even knowing, inadvertently not knowing that I was trying to be like that because you still be. My dad, when I seen him, lab, he had a cigarette in his hand. So guess what we tried? We tried to hold a little fake cigarette because we saw that. Even if we said, son, this is bad. We do those things. And that kind of goes like to the attachment theory and all that stuff. All of that comes from that. Go ahead, man.
No, you just keep reminding me of stuff you said earlier because imitating the parent is relationships also.
Right.
And one of the things you were talking about, because he brought up a couple of things about relationships, addiction, and attachment this morning. So now I'm thinking we watching Dad and trying to do what Daddy do, even if we didn't even know Daddy, the DNA has us doing it.
It's ingrained. That's how anger. Like when I was talking about anger, the first part about anger. When I research anger, what it says a lot of the anger comes from what we've seen. It is so much attached to things growing up. So when we grow up, and when my mom gets upset, she gets really angry and she throws stuff. So me as a little kid, when I'm back there playing and my little toy thing don't do what I want to, what I do, I pick up my little paper dish and I throw it. Oh, you make me angry, and I realize this is how I think it's supposed to play out. You know what I'm saying? But if I see my mom, she gets upset, then I see her go down and she kind of do a little count and she sit down. Mom, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay, but I'm calming down. I'm doing my thing, and this is how you handle anger. So now when I get upset, I do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I handle my anger a different way.
And I guess that's why not to cut you off, but I guess that's why it's important not to argue in front of kids.
It just brings an example, because guess what happened? It normalizes it.
Right.
And so when they're in a relationship, guess what happens? I see anger, and what I do, I think that this is how it's supposed to be. I think that when I'm in a relationship, I'm supposed to fuss them. Because guess what? When my mama say, what, Mama, why you and Daddy fussing? Oh, we love each other. We just fussing because we love each other. So now in my mind, I wrote a little definition is that love means fighting.
I ain't gonna say fighting.
Fussing and making up.
And I'm not gonna say that at all. Yeah. But chastising those you love is different from what he's describing.
Right.
So chastising is me seeing something wrong and saying something about it.
Right.
And if that you keep going back and forth with me, then I'm finna start chastising you. Now, that's different from a husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, or anybody's relationship, and they fighting.
Right.
About who spent so much money, and you did this, and then blah, blah, and you a son of a bull, or you cheated on me. And, that's different than chastising, sort of, kind of.
Chastising, we talking about as parenting or chastising in relationship?
Chastising in period. Like, you know, like, and then again,
is it discussing or
that might be chastising what I just described. If you spent too much damn money and you done cheated on me, I think that is still you wrong and you didn't get it right.
But I guess, like you said before, how we do it with our kids, and it's always about
I ain't take the belt off.
What are we showing, man? What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? And kids pick up from that, and not only that, kids pick up from the film. They pick up from the atmosphere that you presented. You know what I'm saying? We found that out, you know.
So much to learn here.
It's a lot, man. And guess what? No one has an example that we don't go to school to learn how to deal with things. But when we know better, we have to try to do better. And we have to work at it. You know, it's hard.
I don't even know what to say, man, because like when I'm talking to you and I'm figuring stuff out and I'm trying to give an example, it's not a good example. It's a horrible example.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to make it make sense, and it actually I'm getting deeper and deeper into seeking and understanding is what it feels like. It's like, so now chastising, anytime you see a infraction is like, okay, I'm gonna have to really work on this one because there are so many things, you know, now going to therapy that I notice with myself.
Right.
So it's easier to notice it happening in other people.
Right. Because your awareness.
Yeah.
Your eyes have been open, so you filter the damage and that I can do or not do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of what I say, and so that's why I say I always go to the Bible, is that the words are so powerful. They do so many things, and a lot of times, but we use our words so inadvertently. We just go up and we just say stuff. We just blurt stuff out, but we don't realize how much. And guess what? Yeah. And the degree of the person who's saying it means more. Like if you're really close to me, and you say something to me, it's gonna hurt me a lot more than a stranger saying something to me. So if I'm a parent, if I'm a dad or I'm a father, especially if my dad or father that's hardly not there, or mama that's it's kind of removed, and I hardly see you, and then when I see you, the words you speak, you know, it's a seed, man. Words are seeds, and they are so powerful. You be like, well, they don't really mean nothing. The seeds come back up.
Yeah, they do.
I'm gonna tell you a thing my son told me. We was talking about wisdom. He was talking about in the Bible you got David and you got Solomon. He was saying, you know, Solomon asked for wisdom and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, son. He said, did you know that his daddy is the one who planted that seed in him? I was like, no, son. He said in the Bible, he said that his daddy, when he was little, he told him, he said, son, seek wisdom. He said, so when God asked him in the Bible what he wanted, he said that seed came up, daddy. That seed came up with wisdom, and so that's what he asked for. So those seeds, man, are so powerful. They can be, and it's planted by a father. Yeah. Or they can be seeds that are bad to tear you down. You know, so it's
that's a good point.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes a seed has to be planted by dropping. You know, a tree will drop a seed, and it'll just grow.
Right.
And some seeds you have to break ground in order to get it in.
Right.
Now, what I'm finding personally, this is just me personally, because we have been, we've been making therapy, treatment, any type of mental health, we've been making that like a, ooh, no, don't do it.
Right.
Don't do that. It's so much stigma on it that we have to break the ground in order to get the seed in.
Right.
And for me, and this is just for me, chastising is my shovel. Because nobody goes to therapy that I know of but me. I might know one more person, because I think I do have another friend that goes to therapy, and maybe two. I'm gonna say two, just to not be forgetting nobody. But that's out of 750,000 people.
Yeah. Well, who you knew went to therapy growing up? I don't know anybody.
Nobody.
I don't know anybody who went to it.
First
How many people
person
you think needed it?
Everybody.
How many people you know that went to the army or came back and they did, and then you hear about the stuff that affects their children and their relationships?
That's what I realized is not only the military. But dude, we could do this all day. I ain't gonna lie.
Right.
Because I was thinking, after every war, we have, and this is funny because I got jokes with my therapy, and since this is real, this is like a real therapy session.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say this joke. After every war, the men's pants get tighter. Vietnam. Yeah. What was the 70s like?
Yeah.
70s tight pants, people.
That's funny, man.
No, I'm just saying though. Then we had the war on drugs. This is another war now.
Yeah.
And then our kids, tight pants.
Yeah.
Right now. We got I'm just saying, because you have so many men now being raised by women.
Yeah.
Now, I'm looking at numbers. Don't be mad at me, people, because I look at number and history differently.
Right.
I'm just looking at when we separate the man from the family, we take the chastising out of the house. Mama let stuff slide. Mama don't have time to be bothered. I used to be scared to hear, wait till your daddy get home.
Yeah.
That is fear in a child's mind, fear. Wait till your daddy get home. Because mama would tell you quit, no, stop. But when daddy get home, he is not even talking to you. He go in there and kiss mama, what they did, what? Then you see that big old belt come out, and he's like, but daddy back, but no words. It's whooping. And that was a level, I think, of respect and separation that mama knew. I don't have to keep going back and forth with y'all. I will whoop them, but wait till your daddy get home, and we're gonna see how you act now. And I'm just looking at the men that are raised with fathers or father figures around. Are we the angry ones? Are we the ones that have anger issues? Are we the ones that's being suppressed to be, because we know we're supposed to be men, and everything about this world is saying, bring flowers and candy to the fight. Don't get angry. You should smile. Just because the Catholic Church is raping these kids, don't get angry. Just because they got a petty island over here, don't get mad at this people. We should be like Jesus, who would flip tables over and whip your ass, but nobody talks about that part. But that's what they're feeding us, is this be more feminine to me. Be more ladylike. Wait until your daddy get home, and you the daddy. You feel me? It's like, wait until your daddy get home, and daddy will take care of it, but you the daddy. And ain't none of us out here acting like daddies when he get home. We acting like mamas. Yeah, I said it. And we're going to go to commercial on that. So Warner, he ain't never been that quiet that long, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm seeking to understand, man.
So we're gonna get ready to go to a commercial for a second, and because that's been a long run, and we'll see y'all in a hot minute.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now. Do you have
Hello, welcome back. I know we were getting into a little something before we left. Hey, we're here, Pertis Williams here with Warner Buxton on a special edition of A Journey into Mental Health. We're here at We Believe Digital Studios in Jackson, Mississippi. Hey, if you guys need any media assistance, whether it be shoot a commercial, you want to do a podcast, or anything like, say, you want your event filmed, give us a call, 1-800-492-5186, and we'll get you taken care of. And back to what we were talking about real quick, men after war, or children after war. That kind of can go two ways on that too. Men after war, anger issues with no therapy, and then those kids who, let's say, their fathers don't return from the war, and how we have tight pants coming right after that. That's what I said, is that the pants get tight after war, and we have a diminishment in masculinity. And now I have to adjust how I talk around everybody who doesn't go to therapy.
Right.
So they sensitive now. And
diminishment in masculinity. Also, do you saying a diminishment in men? So of course there's gonna be less masculinity because we got less men. So of course that's different, and we got a less example. And so I think me and Pertis was talking about a little bit earlier is that it's a difference in between, how we deal with stuff. I'm talking from this point of view, from my experience and what I've learned, and you just talking from life experience. And I'm also talking from life experience. I grew up with, like I said, dad issues as well, different ways or things that happen. But it's a difference. And so what you was doing, basically what you was saying, what you was venting. And there's nothing wrong with venting. And we're supposed to. We're supposed to vent. We're supposed to vent. And so I always like to, I believe in venting. I think it's supposed to be, in relationships, what happens a lot of times is that we think that the person is venting, that they're arguing with me. But sometimes when things happen and we have this emotion, especially men, talking about men, is men are told so much now to keep everything in, and what happens is it comes out, and guess what happens? When something spills, and usually what happens when something comes up and spills, the person closest to me, they get all over them because I haven't dealt with it. I haven't dealt with it. And men are made to release. It doesn't matter what you say and think. Men are made to release. You know what I'm saying? Ladies are made to receive. It's different. And I talk to men all the time about learning how to be able to release. And so being able to release, and so that's why I tell people, when you see these guys is playing sports and all that, they do all these things, they make their noise because they release it. And a lot of times we don't. Look at less people play sports. There's people doing the things to do physical activity, and there's no release. And so they release them in video games, they release them in violent video games, they release them in these other things like that, and they don't have a good release. And so what we try to teach men, especially like I have a man group I do, is we try to teach men how to release in a good kind of way. Because that's a way of dealing with anger. When I grew up, anger problems, had anger issues.
We fight.
And I remember my dad telling me, he said, if you upset, son, he said, go out there and run up the street. And I like, Dad, I want to run up the street. And so I ran up the street. We had a driveway that went around. And then I came back. He said, you still mad? I said, yes, sir, I'm still mad. He said, well, run up again. By the time I ran up that third time, I came back. He said, you still mad? I was like, no, Dad, I'm not mad. He said, so, all right. So when you're upset, do something physical. Knock you some push-ups out. He said, go do something. He said, then guess what my mind can do? Because when you're upset, I'm in this fight or flight thing. And I'm poised for war, and I'm ready to do it. But now I have to become a thinker. You know what I'm saying? Because once my thing then, he said, now what you going to do about this is going on? It's still a solution. It's still a choice. You hear people say, hey, this person made me mad. I said, no, nobody can't make you mad. I said, they make you mad, they controlling it. I said, what they did, you were irritated by it, you didn't like what they said, you disagree with them, but they didn't make you mad. They said something and you chose to get mad. Always go back to choice. You know what I'm saying? So if I step on your foot, Pertis, and I hurt your foot, now what happened is that you're angry. Now if you push me, you can push me, right? Push me, beat me down. Right. Okay? But you also can do what? Choose to not push me. Right. Beat me down. It's still what? It's still a choice.
And you got me thinking over here now, because my brain is usually moving because I'm listening, and you say you're angry, your daddy said go run. What do people do after a fight, a relationship fight? They usually engage in sexual activity. Okay. Now, what I was just sitting here thinking, blood flow increases both of those activities. Does anger have something to do with maybe a slow of blood, and healing is to speed that up? Like your brain can process better the more blood flow, the fluid going through the electrical charges.
It does it does bring blood to you. Different, because when you're angry, what your body is basically saying is that it's prepared to run or to fight.
Or sex.
Or sex, whatever. It's still anxiety. It's still your body. Your body gets engorged with blood regardless. Blood does something. Blood goes to the extremity. So if I need to get ready to fight, it goes to my arms. It goes to my feet for me to be able to run. If I'm going to engage in sexual activities, it goes to my genitals. Blood flows to where it's needed. And so when I'm angry, it does that.
So that anger means blood needs to flow to your brains.
Well, it kind of go less to your brain. You know what I'm saying? So
really?
what I do, when I run, it brings it down, and then guess what it do? Now my brain can use it.
So it takes it and
it
flows it through.
Yes, because you're fight or flight, you're not thinking. You're aware, but
less
you're not
blood.
Fighting. It's less blood because it's going to the things it needs.
Just like sex. It's not less blood.
Yes, it's going to that. You don't have to think. That's why That's why I'm saying no matter how low a person's IQ is, they can always have sex. So high IQ doesn't mean you have. It doesn't matter.
Ooh, nah.
But I'm saying
you didn't see. That's supposed to be something I would say.
Because it's a basic. but if you go into the hierarchy of needs, it's a basic human need.
Yeah,
it's a basic human need. That's why anyway in any part of the world, no matter how a person goes, they can always have sex.
Even though they should quit having sex with the dummies. I'm gonna say that.
But you're not what?
I'm gonna say that.
But it's not a mental thing. Right?
I'm gonna say it. Quit having sex with the low IQ. because that's how we got to where we are now.
But then,
And,
what is IQ, man? What is IQ really mean?
Okay, that's a good point.
Who invented IQ?
That's a good point.
It's a rabbit hole.
I'm gonna let you win on that one because I agree. Because I always say, who in the world decided what smart was?
Right. But it's a feeling. I'll tell you about sex, man. You get down to it, is that a lot of times when people just want to feel something, and when they want to, now people they talk about Halle Berry on that movie, man. But what happened is, if you watch with the movie, what it was is that at that time she knew it might have been a bad decision, but at that time she just want to feel it. It's a basic human need. Sex is a basic need. It's at the bottom of the thing. You know what I'm saying? Food, sex, shelter. Yes, it's basic. It's basic. It goes down to the basic need. You don't have to be able to think. You don't have to know some person. People can just go out and do those things. And so it doesn't mean people don't make educated decisions about sex a lot of times. You know what I'm saying?
What you say though, not to cut you off, but food, sex, and shelter, the three basics are also the ones we need to really take the time to choose. Take the time to choose.
You should.
We need to really take some time. Yeah. Those basic things are seemingly, to me, the foundation of everything that goes up beyond that. If we choose the wrong sex partner, we eat the wrong foods, you live in the wrong place. Those three things disrupted, man. So you see, this is how you learn.
It's a price. It's a price you pay for all those decisions, even the basic of decisions we make. And so that's one of the things we try to teach our kids. Like I said, bring it back to our children, but look at the things that we choose. Not only does it affect us, it affects our children, it affects other generations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of those things are so many, we're birthed so much in trauma and in our nature that we just kind of accept things. Yeah. That's just how things are. And it's once you kind of get above, I always tell people about the matrix, once you kind of come out and you can see, but some people want to just choose to kind of just see this is my normal. I don't want to. It's like it's about a poverty mentality. Once and they've studied it and they sent so much money to these different people. It's poverty, but they can't beat the mentality. You have to want to choose to kind of come out of that mentality. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Until you can come out the same way, being incarcerated. Sometimes in military, sometimes different ways. It's so hard to drink, and we call it identity and things like that. I'm identified in these things, and it's so hard for me to break out of my identity that that's why I can.
You need a chastiser.
Yeah. But as we get a certain age, I need to chastise myself. Yeah, I need to chastise myself. I got to be able to self-correct.
You call yourself stupid, or say you made a stupid mistake.
Yeah. Or you do it like in the military. What you do when something goes wrong. If I have a bad relationship, I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna blame it on everybody. I'm gonna sit down. I forgot what it's called in the military. It's been so long since I've been in. But you do this thing where it's like an IDR. I forgot what it's called. But you go in and you say, hey, what went right? What went wrong? What can I correct? What was my fault? What was out of my hand? What things can I do to be better in this relationship? Or I just sit there and I blame everybody else. I'm just the victim. I just say, okay, yeah, but since I'm not perfect, I need to go back and see the things I could have done better and things that can be done better. Same way the job. I had a job that was good. Okay, what was good about this job? What was bad about this job? What was things that I could improve? What was things that can be improved in? That's how.
Self-reflection.
And I'm learning. I'm constantly trying to learn how to be better. But so many of us, we just kind of like, hey, that's just how I am. They need to sit me
It is what it is.
It is, and they need to be better. And and guess what? That's what if a tree said that, it'll be that same height. But if a tree said, hey, a tree, this is what I always tell people. Trees grow they grow as tall and wide, as thick as they can based on their environment. They're going to grow as deep as long about the water and the shelter they have. I said, we're the only thing that grows to, we cut ourselves off from growth. We say, hey, I'm through growing, this is how I am. Guess what? I immediately start dying. Yeah. Once you say, hey, I'm growing, not maybe physically, but I'm growing mentally. I'm learning about myself. I'm growing emotionally intelligent. I'm growing in these different areas because I'm seeking to listen and understand.
I see that too, though. I know some people, and I mean, like, when you look at their ages, you really don't know that this person is the same age as this person. And you'll be like, what's the difference? And I think it really is what you said. One is still working and learning and growing, and their physical activity is still up. They still out doing stuff. It's as if they
never stopped learning.
Never stopped.
Right.
And then on the other side, this person would be the same exact age, and they look 20 years older, and physically, worn down. Right. They using a walker. They they like scared to follow that, and I'm like, what's the difference here? And it's like you said, one still wants to learn and grow,
Right.
and one is looking like, I'm not going to tell the joke, but I'm going to say what it is, because all I see them doing is praying and waiting on Jesus.
Right. Well, the
It's
Bible
like
talk
waiting
about
on death.
But the Bible talk about milk and meat, man. It says that, you know, he's saying I can't do these things for you because you're still on milk. So you're a grown person, but you're drinking milk. Now, how would that look in a real life? Or a person just sitting there, and this other person is me. I got this harder, bigger food for you to eat, but you won't get beyond your milk. You constantly, and that's how sometimes we get, because guess what it is? It's comfortable.
Now, you know you just did something. Now we're finna jump on addiction.
Okay.
Because you just brought up something that I'm gonna make that make sense to addiction.
Okay.
You were saying like you don't want to change, you don't want to grow, you still doing the milk instead of the meat. Now you and I know that when you start drinking, you stop aging emotionally. Not growing up. You still getting old. You still growing gray hairs. You still going through all your cycles or whatever. But
Right.
mentally, emotionally, you stop aging. It stuns it. And so what I was looking at is I've had some years between the drinking. You know, I didn't start until I was like graduated high school, started drinking. So at least I made it to 17. And then there was those many years where I was like, I'm just still 17.
Right.
And then I had a break, and I'll say 19, 20, you know, I'm growing again.
Right.
So a lot of people unknowingly, and I think this is something like I said, I learned when I started going through counseling and therapy, is those brain things. And a lot of us who started drinking early never took a break. Never have had a break.
Right.
So if we look at it from what we know in the scientific standpoint,
Right.
you stopped aging when you started drinking. We got a lot of grown people who are emotionally children.
Okay.
And they're running around here grown with money, emotionally children.
Some way mental. Yeah.
And so when I say that to say, that's why y'all asses can't be accountable for nothing. That's my opinion, not my therapist. Y'all ass can't be accountable for nothing because you still children talking to an adult. And I'm going to say, because I've had some times where I said, drinking ain't good, let me go get some help.
Yeah.
You know, accountability went to say, hey, this ain't good.
Right.
And I see it. Like Proverbs 31. You know, not the bottom part where he's talking about women, but the top part where he's talking about men. Don't be drinking, sir. You a leader of your family. You shouldn't be drinking. You can't make good decisions. You're going to forget the laws. You're going to forget all this stuff. They really telling you then the dangers of alcohol to me.
Right.
And you know, just bringing in some Bible to the science
Right,
and to what we know about the brain.
Right.
What do you think about a lot of grown people out here
Well,
who are still emotionally children?
Well, you know, when like I tell you about trauma, anything that's traumatic, you know, and I was thinking about like growing up, I remember people who had like an accident, got a car accident, when they was 12. And so what happened when they 12, they call trauma to their legs or whatever like that. And so as they get older, their legs they atrophy, they shrink. And so so they got these big other legs and they got smaller bottom parts of the leg because that traumatic thing that has happened has stunted their growth. And that's what a lot of times people are. They we stunt emotions. Trauma stunts us emotionally. And it also time stamps us. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of stuck in that time period of time. And that's why it's so important to realize where you're at. And that's what I'm saying about awareness. Realize, hey, maybe I've been stunted. I need to kind of get out of this mentality. Because when you have trauma, the trauma occurs when you're 6 or 7. Like I said, your body grows physically, but mentally you still in that area, that age a lot of times. You still make decisions, and you're like, why do you make these selfish decisions? Why they get like this, or why they having a tantrum? You know, grown men have tantrums, grown ladies have tantrums. It looks different, but they're tantrums, and it really is because they still kind of stuck in that. And people think, okay, that's all that scientific stuff. I said, but if you look at the word, you know what I'm saying? You look at the behavior, it's true, and people get like that. But I have to choose to see myself that way. And a lot of times we don't want to see ourselves as not being perfect. We don't want to see ourselves as not needing help.
You said something funny though, because you said when you telling people this, they like, oh, that's science. Like, dismiss that science.
Right.
Like, really?
Yeah, that's that nerd stuff. That's that. And people, you know, especially, you know what I'm saying, black people, colored people, you know, BIPOC people, we get caught up in that. You know, we get caught up in this thing that, you know, we don't want to hear that stuff, but that's what I always say. You know, that's fine, but what has it been doing for you? I ain't listening to all that stuff.
How
we
doing?
What is that doing for you? That's why people like, I say, well, hey man, I do this and I do this, and I'm like, how's that worked out? You know, how's that work? Well, man, I can have one drink. I said, how many times have you had one drink though? Okay, how many?
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the truth. The reality is that, oh man, everything good, but is it really good? Is it really good? Has it really? How's that? I had to teach you to say that. How's it been working out for you? How has that been working out for you? And so, if it hasn't been working out for you, let's try something different.
Man.
Let's try something different. Let's pick a needle too. If I'm out there cutting the grass and I got some scissors, I'm cutting the grass. And I be like, man, you want to use a lawnmower? Oh, man, I've been cutting this grass for 20 years with these scissors. I was like, well, how that work out? Now, it takes me 2.3 months to cut this grass with these scissors. Right. I was like, man, but I got a lawnmower out here. I got a sickle. I grew up with a place in the country. I got a bush hog. I got all these other tools that you got, and you still using these scissors. Be like, but man, my daddy used scissors. My mama used scissors. Hey, man. I was like, well, man, how that's working out for you? You know, you can be doing other things. You could have went to college 4 times. You know, but that's how we do sometimes. We get so stuck up in tradition. We get so stuck up in, hey, this is how I've always done things.
Right. And
looking back on it, man, I said, like, but it's like I got some guys that I talk to sometimes, and they should be like, hey, man, I can't help being a player, man. My daddy was a player. And I would be like, cool, man. Did you like your dad? No, I hated him. So why you want to be like him? Why would I want to be like somebody? You know, but we don't think about that, and they never, because what happened, nobody ever told them that. You know, nobody ever said, hey, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
That right there. That's the me.
Right.
Is the accountability chastising dude. Right. Is nobody ever said nothing to these people out here. Right. See, they always patting them on the back.
Right.
Girl, that's okay. Yeah. You okay. You doing the best you can.
Right.
Dude, you did the best you could. No, you didn't.
Well, where did that come from? What do you think that came from?
That came from giving everybody a trophy, damn it. And
No Child
Left Behind left a lot of children behind.
Well, it came from a lot of that came from the civil rights movement. The reason it came from the civil rights movement because a lot of black people didn't have encouragement. So what happened, man, we was in this period of time when they were taught they needed to encourage black people because nobody was encouraging them. So their mamas and their dads encouraged them no matter what they did. So we've came out of that part. And so what happened is that we have used it too much. And so now we don't realize, okay, we've used this tool, now it's time to put this tool back up. And now we need to be real with the tool. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to understand it was this tool was necessary at that time, but now we need to be back into reality. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what happens. A lot of times people are still using them scissors, man. It's time to use the lawnmower. It's time to use these other things.
We finna step into something now because, you know, this is where I'm going to say, yes, I agree. However, my research and history, like civil rights movement, we needed encouragement.
Right.
When did we need it before 1945? See, TVs, VCRs, DVDs, all them kind of things over the progression of years from the radio to television started to demonize and remove our self-esteem. See, I don't remember Granddaddy owning the front of the home and having self-esteem issues.
They didn't.
You know, way back in the way they didn't. When I go back past 45, my family don't seem like they had self-esteem issues at all. Now, when that TV came out, and this is a worldwide self-esteem issue, I'm going to say, that's when we received what they wanted you to think about yourself. They wanted you to see them.
What's that called?
That's programming.
Propaganda as well.
Oh, yeah.
What is propaganda? Propaganda sets up how they want you to look at life.
Thank you.
That's when the 3-point kids, that's when the house having that. And so what happened, it got me to focus on these things is what make me successful. These things. And that's what's happening when we have so much high suicide rate now. But look, kids,
did you look at the race
ridiculous.
recently, man?
But the reason why is because we got it's a false sense of what you're supposed to have.
Right.
And so now I feel like because when I take pictures and I have this that everybody likes this thing, that everybody loves it.
If I don't get them likes and shares.
Yeah, I'm
gonna kill myself.
Well, because I don't.
That's what they doing.
Because it's no reality, man, and it's a false reality, and it's such a, and we don't realize how much damage that is done from those things. Man. And so we got so many different layers, and a lot of times, but we so busy we don't have time to go back and look at it. Man. We don't have time to realize that it's so much damage that I need to try to undo.
And that's what we here to do is look at that damage, and we're gonna discuss that damage as so that you can say, well, wow, that did happen in my life.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I bring up the crack years.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we went through this we latchkey kids and stuff, but we were really going through one of the worst times in United States history,
Right.
and didn't even know it.
Didn't realize it, right?
Yeah, we didn't even know it, that the things we were seeing
Yeah.
and seeing,
Right.
it ain't even about you heard of.
Yeah.
We actually were seeing these things
right? Experiencing
happening
Yeah. Right.
right here in front of you. Like, it ain't the drug war with drugs was so bad. We right here in front of you, they doing this. They don't care. They ain't
Kitchen
trying to hide.
Kitchen school bus. That's all.
They ain't trying to hide nothing. Right here in front of you, and we were traumatized, and our traumatized grown selves had children, and we raised those children from trauma, and it's like it's that trauma, like they tell the kids, where you just forget it.
Yeah. Blank out
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
It becomes so normal. It becomes so normalized that we don't realize that. But remember, talk about seeds. It planted seeds, and guess what?
Man.
Now those seeds grow up later. And guess what? I tell people all the time is that. But also, it grew. The gangster rap came up
Man,
from there,
yes,
and
it did.
it grew up because what happened? We got this period of time
wow.
where we got all, like you said, this tragic thing. But also, we growing up, this gangster rap coming up, and we loving this because it's a rebellion against our family. And guess what? It's money. We seeing these guys doing money. I was they was renting cars. They were doing these things. And so girls just tell us, hey, you know, I want me a man. I need me a man. They didn't even know what a man was, but to them, it was a man, somebody who had money, somebody who could take care of him, somebody who could buy the shoes. You know, because we told that if you ain't got no feelers with the fat laces, that you ain't nobody.
You ain't nobody.
You know what I'm saying? I got my shoes from, my mama had 5 kids, so we got our shoes from Payless. We was just having to get a pair of new shoes. But when we got to school, they clown on us because they want to feel like with the fat laces or AWDID. And so we idolize the people who had the thing. I want a 3-finger ring.
Man,
You know what I'm saying? I want that.
Did you just pull that out of my brain? Because
I
I was
need
sitting
that.
over here
I
like
need that, man.
the 3-finger.
I gotta have a 3-finger ring, man. I
was letting you do it.
I gotta have a rope. I gotta have the thick herringbone. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have a rope. I gotta have those things.
The
And
TV.
Yes. The big radio.
The TV.
Yeah. Because it's glamorized. Man.
Now, if we remove the TV,
Yeah.
if we remove the television,
Right.
we remove the Sears catalog,
Right.
remove all the advertising,
Right.
you'll talk to those people who didn't have television. We didn't even know we were poor.
Right.
Is what a lot of people will say. We didn't know we were poor.
Did you ever study why that came about? I watched this. I read this congregational study that happened. It was in Congress, and what happened is right after the 70s, when the 70s came out, that a lot of people were getting into politics and they was going and really trying to change laws. And so what happened? They started pushing out. They said it's a letter. You can look it up from Congress. They pushed this thing out, and they said we need to get people more interested in, like, things, basically things in the that's when the thing about having 3 kids came out and having 2 cars. That's when all that thing was pushed. And so guess what happened is then the people got away from the politics because it came out of the hippie movement. They got away from the politics and they got into start trying to do these things. And so that's what happens all the time is that we don't really want you starting to be concerned about what's going on. And so, but if you're not aware, and guess what? You don't read.
You don't.
And I can get in reading all day, man, because people. We can, and guess what we want to see? I tell people, I say, hey, man, where you learn this at, Warren? I say, it's in a book. Oh, man, can you send me a video? Can I watch it? And guess what? When I watch that video, what else I got to watch? I got 20 other videos that I got to see. And I'm going to watch the dog or the cat that's cooking the food before I watch that video, more than likely. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you said 1,000 things at once because I have these videos that I'll send people, and they have not watched them at all. And I get that whole lot. You know, I'm like, people will send me something, and I'll start watching it.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'll turn it off because for me, it's more of the division for us as a people. So I'm not really watching, oh, they did this to so-and-so and blah, 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 and blah, 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 trying to divide us as a people, whether it's religious or color-wise. I won't watch those because I know that there's a whole group of people over here who don't get news coverage, who are being treated worse than this one you trying to make a big deal. So I know the numbers on that. So a lot of times I'll walk away from those videos because I know what that mental programming is trying to do, especially to what I do with my work with Project Humanity. So I avoid those. We are one people. We got some ignorant people out here doing ignorant shit. Excuse the language. That's what I say. So those things that are done ignorant, like you said, the cat video, I'm gonna watch that. I ain't gonna watch this education. I'm gonna watch this fight.
Yeah.
So the more drama and more division they can cause, the more views. They are strategic with that.
And if you look it up, how all these things are done, you look at, I was talking to my son we was talking about school and stuff like that, and he was talking about, I said, man, all those things have a reason. If you really look up why things are set up, man, it's just amazing. But if we don't research, we research everything else. I can meet guys and they can tell me all the stats of basketball players, football, and be in a fist fight about it. You know what I'm saying? But when you ask them about real stuff, oh man, I ain't worried about all that stuff because it's about self. I'm not worried about things like that. And then what happened, man, you know, like I said, I was gonna bring the Bible up, I can't help them. The Bible said my people perish for lack of knowledge, man. We lack knowledge. We don't want to learn. We don't want to, and it's not just biblical knowledge, it's just knowledge, period. It's about learning about why people do the things they do. Learning that it's things that have been set up. It's not for you can bemoan them. It's just for you can, my thing is about solution. It's not about just knowing about it. And I know a lot about a lot of little things that I read a lot because I'm interested in it. You know what I'm saying? But it's not about just doing it, it's learning to do better. Now, once I learn, I'm not going to continue to set myself up for those things.
Now, of course, you might fall. You know,
of course.
I know better,
of course.
But I made a mistake.
Of course.
You know, we don't expect perfect.
Right.
It's just the awareness you talked about.
Right.
That's the important part. Is the awareness plants the seed of change.
Yes.
And a lot of times we not planting the seed of change in one another.
Right.
Like you said, iron sharpens iron. He tell me that all the time. He never heard such crazy stuff. But you know, iron sharpens iron.
Right.
And so it is up to us to sharpen each other.
Right.
So we can't let, oh boy, dude, it's okay, girl, it's all right, no big deal, be what we tell our brothers and sisters out here when they need.
Right.
Hey,
if it's killing them.
You need to stop and change. You a bad parent, and you need to go see your kids. And don't worry about this, whatever.
Or deal with these issues.
You know,
Deal with this stuff you got with your mama. Deal with this stuff because what happened in you're hurting these other people. It's not just about you.
Right.
I'm gonna leave this earth because of suicide. Do you know that if you commit suicide, your kid is 50% more likely to commit suicide? People who are around you are gonna get hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna affect people. I see your life is more than just about you.
Yeah.
Stop being selfish, man. Stop being selfish.
Stop being a narcissist.
Stop being that way because you know because it affects so many other people, and a lot of times.
Yeah.
Well, I don't you know, it's just about me. You know, you need people, man. You need somebody. You need somebody to help you. You need relationships. We're made to be in relationships. We're made to have, you know, not to be just dependent on ourselves. You look at it, people who don't have it, never been in a relationship, so they don't live as long, man, because they need somebody to care about. You need something to make you get up in the morning, give you a reason to get up and do stuff.
Man,
that's how I started. You know, I know when I got married, it changed my life. I wanted to do more. I wanted to be better. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get up.
There's nothing better than love. And I agree, though. No, that is why we are here. It is to love one another, and in that loving comes that correction. And hey, you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna burn your hand. Stop it. No,
if I care about you.
Yeah, if I care. Yeah. Now, if I don't care, hey, watch this. Watch what they finna do. Watch what they gonna do.
Right.
I'm not gonna say nothing. Let them go on down there. They gonna learn. See, that's the person who hates you. Because in these times when we don't say something, that person's life a lot of times could be taken.
Could be taken or could change dramatically.
Yeah.
One word from a person that cares, man.
That's
one word freely spoken. That's what when I see counseling, that's one of the things I pray is that the Bible said word freely spoken is better than gold wrapped in silver leaves, silver bowls.
Say that again.
A word freely spoken is worth. It says like gold. It says like gold apples in silver bowls. It's just saying a good word.
A good word.
You know what I'm saying? A good word. A word freely spoken. And a word in silver bowl. A word freely spoken, man. And I remember one time I was going through some stuff and this guy told me, man, he gave me a word, and man, it was so good, and it didn't help my situation financially at the time I was going through. But guess what? It blessed me so much, man, that I got up and I was able to get back to the things I supposed to do.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I always pray, that I can have a word that's freely spoken, because people need that, man. We need that.
Yeah.
We need to speak life. When we talk about, guess what? We speaking them seeds, man.
Right.
Speaking them seeds in somebody. And so a lot of times in our life, we going around with all these seeds. Give you another little story. In the Bible talk about this guy, and he was an enemy. The Bible said the nighttime he came, he was an enemy. He came in and he planted tares. Tares are like weeds in his man's field. And he said, he came to the master. He said, Master, what should we do? He said, should we go pull up all the teeth? He said, no, if you pull up all the tares, he said, you're going to pull up the wheat too.
Right.
He said, wait till the harvest comes, then pull all the tares up. You know what I'm saying? And then burn them and then leave the other stuff alone. And so what I tell people, you need to just go and plant some more wheat. Guess what? My daddy planted this. My mama said this. My grandparents said this. So what you do, you go start planting some wheat in. It's like, hey, put some good seeds in it. Like, hey, man, you can do this. You can. Yeah, it's going to take work. It's going to do these things. You need this thing. But guess what? And tell people the whole story. Don't just say, hey, man, you great. Yeah, you great, but you're lazy. Yeah, you great, man. But you know what I'm saying? You great, man, but you need to learn how to talk to people.
But you a narcissist.
Yes, and you need to get on that. You got too much pride. You got arrogance. You know what I'm saying? Tell people, say, arrogance has a purpose. Ego has a purpose, man, so you can go out there and accomplish. You know what I'm saying? But you got to learn what's the purpose of that.
Back it down.
Anger has a purpose if you can use it. You know what I'm saying? If you can use it the right way. It's a difference between anger and rage. I told people, rage is terrible. And I always give an example like on the X-Men. It's this guy, Scott Storch, that wears the glasses, shoots the power out. When he was wild, man, he was shooting out, he was hurting everybody. But what they did, they gave him these glasses and this concentrator. And when he used those glasses, man, he could shoot the wings off a net. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so powerful. But when it's out, he hurt everybody. Friends, his girlfriend, everybody. Wife, he just, now he can do a lot of damage, but he damages both ways. That's what happened with rage. Rage, it can hurt stuff, but it hurts everybody. So when I used to lift weights, man, I used to lift like 600-700 pounds, man, and I would use anger. I would be mad. I would like, everybody here looking at me, and I would use all that, and I would use that as power. You know what I'm saying? I'd be lifting weights and I'm tired, and I was like, what if this weight was on your kids? Anger, you know what I'm saying? But this power, I use it in that way. You can use that. If I'm running and I'm like, hey, man, I'm a fuck, I start talking to myself. No, man, you can't do it. Get mad, and that's what I can keep on going. I will get this energy. But it's learning how to use that and control it, not to have it control me.
So you kind of bring up something I was, criticizing people about on the internet the other day. We got all these social media counselors that are not counselors and therapists. Rappers trying to be actors trying to be therapists. Need to get some better wisdom. Who cares? I'm gonna say that. But they try to tell you to remove your fears, remove your this, let go of these emotions and all that. And I always say, no, every emotion you have is for a reason. And what you were just saying is like every anger, rage is used right.
Used
correctly. See, fear, there's nothing wrong with fear. Fear keeps you from petting lions.
You need a little bit of fear.
Yeah,
you need a little bit of fear. You're born with fear of a loud noise. That's that's the fear you're born with. Fear of a loud noise.
Now we get stupid when we get older. Human beings, let me say that. We the only idiots that run towards gunshots. We go, who shooting?
What's that called? That's learned behavior.
That's learned ignorance.
Yeah,
ignorance
can be learned too. Because guess what? If everybody that I'm around they run and I start running, and it's learned. I behave because of that learned behavior. And so we have to learn.
You're right.
You got to be able to separate. Separate those things.
And we have so many people who have learned wrong. Right. And then we have so few people who are telling them they're wrong because I don't want to get involved. And that's why I say we have been taught to hate each other. Instead of loving each other like we're supposed to, we've been taught to hate each other, and that's why we're letting each other fail right in front of. We letting our kids fail in front of us. We don't want to. What does it say in the Bible? We like. I'll go to the Bible. If you punish them, you love them.
Yeah.
If you don't, you hate them. So we are hating each other. In my opinion, and in your Bibles, we are hating each other by allowing one another to get away with things we know to be wrong.
Well, and the Bible said this is what the Bible says about that. If you don't discipline your kids, God raises up a harsher, more stricter ruler. What he means is this. So when I'm young, I love my kids and I discipline them. And it's when I get older and if I don't discipline them, somebody else is going to do it who does not love them. They're going to be harsher and more stricter. So this is what I always remember watching this show. So what happens? Okay, so my parents, I ain't saying yes, ma'am. I ain't saying no, sir. I'm not doing what you say. So watch a person get arrested from the police. What they start saying? Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
When they go to jail, what? I got to ask now. I ain't asking nobody nothing when I'm in jail. I got to ask somebody when I'm going to eat. But guess what? That person is harsher and more stricter, and they don't care. So if I don't get my mental health, this is what happens. So I go to the place and I run from the mental health place. So when the police come, they don't care that I have schizophrenia. They don't have bipolar. All they know is that you naked over there at this store. You know what I'm saying? Eating the apple. You know what I'm saying? So guess what's gonna happen? They finna throw you down, and because guess what? They don't know you, so I got a harsher, more stricter rule. Or I'm coming into treatment, and I've always told you that anything you do you can't do anything wrong. You're a good baby. And so when I come into treatment, and I want to act that same way, and I want to have, but you're 35. You know what I'm saying? So when you come into my place, I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm sorry, you don't get to do what you want. You have to be up at 6 o'clock. You have to come in and eat your food. You can't leave when they're doing these certain things. You have to be on time. Well, I don't want to do it. Well, you cannot stay here. And this is what I always tell my clients is that you can do anything you want to, you just can't do it here. Here you cannot do it because now it's a harsher, more stricter ruler. Because I don't have any kind of thing to you. I don't have any kind of we don't have a relationship. So I can't do that.
Hey, that's why I like my therapist. He teaching me some Bible verses I hadn't caught yet. Like that one right there. If you don't raise your children to be decent, respectful individuals, somebody else, this is the law. This sounds like one of those laws that we don't know about because that's some truth.
It's truth.
That's some truth right there. And so when I hear some truth, and it kind of give you that, damn, I ain't read this one. This sounds like some serious truth. That sounds like this might be a law I need to research.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if it's happening like gravity, and we're gonna go to commercial for a second, but if it's happening like gravity, like going to fall, you don't raise your children right, they're gonna see that harsher ruler,
more stricter ruler,
more stricter.
Yeah, he's a guy. He raises up somebody gonna be above him who does not care. You know, it's part of that in the Bible. And Joseph said that Joseph did all these things in Egypt when he came in. He did all these wonderful things. But the Bible said a ruler arose who knew not Joseph. And that's when they got rid of the people. That's when he said there's too many of them here. Because guess what? He didn't know any of him or his deeds, all the good things he's done. And guess what? That's when he got rid of him. Because what happened when people, everybody don't know. My dad, there's be a time when somebody will say, hey, I don't know your dad. I don't know who that person is.
Man, we're going to have to take this commercial real quick because I'm like, I want to address this. And did we end up slacking in America and we ended up getting them don't care rulers? We'll be right back.
Here at ENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. Socrates Garrett ENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.Dot grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
Hey, we are back here at the special edition of Journey into Mental Health. Hey, again, We Believe Digital Studios, Jackson, Mississippi, here on Livingston Road. If you guys need any type of media coverage or podcast, you want your event filmed, you want to shoot a commercial, give us a call, 1-800-492-5186. And right before we went to break, I was mentioning to Werner the more strict, crueler, or you say harsher ruler that you get when you don't raise your kids right. And I was thinking, maybe America, we hadn't been taking care of each other right. And that's why we have these people in charge right now who don't give a half a care about us. But they bank accounts are getting bigger and bigger. Minimum wage is still frozen. And I know people like, I don't make minimum wage. Well, you don't understand how minimum wage affects your wage. See, you don't understand that if minimum wage comes up, so does yours. And then you got the people who say, well, they'll raise up the price of everything if they give us a raise. If you had any sense, you'd know they've already been raising the prices of everything, but they still hadn't changed your wages. So you're arguing about nothing. So your rulers, as Werner just mentioned, are way harsher and crueler than they used to be because we stopped caring about each other and we started thinking about me, narcissism stuff. I was about to cuss. Narcissism, behavior, me, lifestyles of the rich and famous, gimme.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what you think about that? Do we have those rulers you talked about as a people because we failed to raise each other right?
Right. Well, I think leaders have changed, man. I think it has changed because people are kind of, everybody to me seems like they're going inward. Everybody's taking care of themselves. And I remember hearing the phrase a long time ago when it came out, hey, I'm just doing me. And I always tell people, when you're doing me, you're getting done. You're getting done. Somebody's doing you. Somebody's doing your kids. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's doing everything. Same way I tell guys to be in a adultery relationship. They were like, well, I'm out there doing this. I said, the same way you're doing that person, you're getting done yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so when I'm doing these things, man, I'm getting done. So I'm doing me, but guess what? When I'm doing me, I can't do myself. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? My kids are getting done. Everything else is getting done. My community is getting done. All these different things are happening because I'm so focused on me.
Wow.
And that's kind of like the American ideal. I forgot what it's the word of it. It's called
Selfish.
It's a big word for what I can't remember what it's called, but
Narcissism. I mean,
yeah, but
that's my word.
America has the independence, and you look at like China and stuff like that. Man, they're community based. They're community based. We're the only one that's based on independence, and when you're independent, you fall, man. And the Bible talks about two walking together because you can race. Like me and you going somewhere. Me and you trying to go get to Chicago. Me and Pertis. So if I'm the only one driving, we're only gonna get so far before I get wore out. But if I'm driving and then you sleeping I'm driving, we're gonna get there twice as fast.
Right.
And both of us gonna have some rest and relaxation because we can go so far, man. Because we're putting our backs in the Bible. They call it your battle buddy. So in the battle buddy, when you're in the army, guess what? I can lean my back against your back, and we can go to sleep, man. We can rest. Well, you can be on guard, and I can be at rest, but we forget that. That's what they're saying is that we forget that part that we need people. I don't need nobody but myself. Yeah, but once you through, then you're independent. Because, and the Bible talk about also is the mouth of counselors. And I don't have no counselors. I don't have nobody who's teaching me something. He said a person who has many counselors, man, it helps them. Because guess what? You know about finance. You know about this person right here knows about emotional health. This person here knows about how to start a business. This person here knows a little bit about politics. And I get together and we counsel each other. And so now I know a little bit about all those things now because I got a good counselor. I got friends that are counselors. And guess what? I've taught them what I knew about counseling. You taught me what you know about business. You taught me what you know about these things. And guess what? As a whole, we grow. And that's how you get those independent communities like a long time ago that were so big because the dollar turned around so many times. Right. That's why that wealth was there. And that's why those communities didn't last because people didn't understand the power that they had in those communities. And working together, man, because we're so independent and it's about me having my thing and not really caring about anybody having theirs. And so that's what we have this loss. And kids don't, and they don't know a lot of times about that. And it's not I'm not here to just drag on family. I'm just saying, hey, be aware that this is what you might be doing. Yeah. Be aware that this is how you're doing, and the way I treat people, the way I act, the way I look at people, that's how my kids gonna look, even if they think it's not right. They're gonna see people the same way. I remember my mom, she used to sell home material. My mom was a teacher. She sold home material. She sold all this stuff like that, and she used to speak to everybody. I'm like, Mom, you know that guy? She's like, no, I don't know him. I'm like, Mom, you know that person? She said, no, baby. She said, you speak to every person you see. She said, because I never know what might happen. She said, one day I was selling home material and my car had my tire got a flat. Yeah. And she said, and before my car could do it, one of the men I had just spoke to started running toward my car. She said, before I could make it down good, he was jacking my car up and doing my thing. She said, now what if I hadn't spoke to him or turned my nose up at him or looked at it like that? You know what I'm saying? She taught me that. Me riding with her on Saturdays, man, while she sold home material. And my mom was a teacher. She had a degree back then, black community. You thought she was something, but we still didn't have a lot. Mm-hmm. But she taught me about loving people, man, and respecting people. And I carry that same thing now.
That's kind of funny. You reminded me of a story. A friend of mine, one of the guys I met when, where was that? Where did I meet him at? Where did I meet Eddie? Where did I meet Eddie? It seemed like, you know how you meet somebody, you can't even remember where you met him.
Yeah.
But we're really good friends. I need to call him too, because, I can help him get his trucking company started. But I just reminded that Eddie was like, he was in South Carolina, and he was in his truck. He got a little box truck. So he was in South Carolina. He got a flat, and he was with his dad. And he said they got a flat tire. In our trucks we do not have flats. I mean, do not have spares in those trucks. We just kind of like it's us, and then it's call the people, and they come out and change it, and you spend $600-700. So maybe $1,000 sometimes depending on the distance, but. So Eddie's on the side of the highway with the tire down, him and his dad, and he said, Eddie's my color. Okay. Eddie said 2 light-skinned fellas. We gonna call them white today. Rebel flag in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
Pull up. You need any help, buddy? He was like, yeah, man, I got a flat. He said, not a problem. He said the 2 guys got out, took his tire off, took him, got him in the truck, took him to get the tire fixed, brought him back, put the tire on, and refused to take any money from him.
Wow, awesome, man.
Dude, same thing happened to me up in Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting up there. I'm tired. Been driving all night trying to get to my hotel.
Yeah.
And I'm not reading the sign that says trucks go to the other entrance.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get in the first entrance I can get in, and I go up and get stuck. The bumper of the truck got stuck on the hill.
Yeah.
And I couldn't move it. I'm out there with my pallet jack I'm out there. And I'm like, God, I just, really, God, this just, I'm going to have to call somebody. And I'm really just trying to get back on my feet because, I had just went through, my situation.
Right.
And God was like, here come 2 guys. It was like Eddie's situation.
Yeah.
They didn't have a rebel flag on the back of the truck.
Yeah.
But it was 2 guys, 2 light-skinned dudes. We're going to call them white today. Came out there.
Yeah.
You need some help? I'm being passed by all of us.
Yeah.
Not even saying a word, but these 2 guys stopped, pickup truck, pulled out the chain, got me loose, and was like, refused to take any. I'm trying my best to buy them dinner. Refused to take any. I'm talking about they were like, you gonna mess up our blessing. That's and that reminded me of being a grateful receiver as well as a grateful giver.
Yes, it's a lesson.
And that's a law
right
that we forget sometimes.
Yes, I had to learn that,
man. And I tell you, when I watch that TV, these people aren't on it.
Yeah.
These people are not mentioned.
And they there.
They everywhere.
We need to tell those stories because you don't know. And like I told my kids when they're young, I said, man, there's good people in every color, man. I said some bad people. I met some people who were bad in every place. And I told my daughter, I remember when she was going somewhere, I said, hey, because you looked so young when she was flying and she was grown, but you look young. I said, don't just be scared of people who look scary to you. I said, people who look like that are sometimes the worst folks. I said, you have to be careful because guys in slacks and shirts. I said, good people just good people.
Right.
Bad people just bad people. And I'm not saying they bad, but some people are being hurt different. But you don't just put people in a category, and it's hard to understand that. Even though I study a lot of the history of stuff, a lot of things that happen, a lot of abolitionists. We want to have a lot of things that some of those people who were abolitionists who were light skinned people, and they gave their life and they basically put themselves in danger by helping.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? The real ones, the ones who are real abolitionists. You can see those are the ones that found school. Those are the ones who did. Those are the ones who also would suffer this for women's rights too.
Right.
You watch them, the ones who really were abolitionists. You would know they really were because they weren't just about black people, but they were also about women too. Some of them, the other ones, they were abolitionists. They wanted black people to go. They wanted to go other places, but they didn't care about women being there. But the real ones, they wanted women rights and you can see, and it's a lot of them, and they really changed those things. And and some of them, fought and died. There's people who died. This guy right up in Meridian, what we name our thing, and they died for that. So you just have to, same way you want people to look at us. Judge us all independently. You want to also look at people and judge them independently.
Don't put us all in one box.
Yes,
don't put them all in one
box. Don't
box.
put all men in a box. Don't put all women. I used to sit in this class and ladies would come in there and they'd say all this stuff and they be like me, and I was like, I raised my hand. I be the only guy in the class. I was like, well, I'm not like that. And they'll say something else and they, well, you know what I mean? And I was like, no. I said, you can ask my wife. You don't mean you can ask her. She'll tell
not me.
Not me. You know what I'm saying? And so I said, don't categorize. I know it's easy. I've done it. Other people do it. We have to be careful. And so, like I said, but being aware that guess what? I am flawed. We are all flawed. I am hurt. Hurt people. We all are hurt different. I'm not here to just talk about your hurt. I've hurt people. I continue to do it. I'm a counselor. Guess what? I still need marriage counseling. I still mess up. I still have arguments. I still have stuff. Counsel, go to counsel. Addiction is a dependence on something. You see me every day. I'm drinking coffee. That is a dependence. That is a chemical dependency. Right. A dependency is a dependency. Don't blame me for perfect.
Right.
That's how you mess up. Pride
just
and
because
perfection.
I'm over here doing this, don't mean I ain't aware that I need to fix it. I'm aware now. Not being aware,
Right,
is a difference.
right.
That's not. We're talking about bringing awareness
Right.
to it, so that the person is not living in ignorance of what they're doing.
Exactly.
So we need to iron sharpen iron by
Right.
making it aware,
Right.
and bringing to their attention that do you know
Yeah.
there's a better way.
Right.
You know what you're doing.
Right.
It's not going to accomplish nothing.
Right.
We got to make them aware. We weren't raised the same, weren't educated the same. We don't know the
Different
same.
experiences.
And it's I got to rewind back to something you said, man,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to forget it. God just brought it back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Is one of those things you were talking about in the community where the dollars went around so much.
Yeah, 4, 7
Right.
times, 8 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you were also talking about that. I'm a counselor. He's
Counselors, you got a mouth of counselors.
Right.
You
But
know,
I'm talking about he know construction.
Right.
He know farming. I know counseling and all those different things.
Yeah, and we teach each other.
Teaching each other.
Yeah, right.
Now think about this. Now this is my favorite because practice humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how much you don't know when you don't have any friends that don't look like other people.
Right.
See, I didn't know street corn was as good as street corn is until I had a Hispanic friend.
Right.
I didn't know how good, lamb chops were
Yes.
until I had a friend from the Mediterranean.
You're right.
You
I
know.
got a friend in the Army that didn't
You
know
know.
grits were good. We went to basic training together, and I got him some grits one day. He's like, "Man, what's a grit?" I said, "Man, a grit is nothing." I said, "But grits is
But
something."
a gang of grits.
And man, once he got them grits, you know what? Every day we went to the child, man, guess what he wanted? He's like, "Hey, man, they ain't got no grits up in here." he said, "Man, we ate with oatmeal and hominy." So
Yeah.
you man, that's so good what you're saying. Yeah.
When we go outside
Right.
of this, what we know,
Right, man.
man, we learn some stuff.
Well, we should, man. We should try to learn, and we need a mouth of counsel. You need all kind of counsel. Don't close your eyes to that because you never know who can really help you.
You
man.
really don't.
And you limit yourself. You limit yourself when you think you can only go one way, and you want to have different. You want to have options, man. You want to learn about stuff because guess what? If nobody I know has done it, and you not saying you can't be the first one, but it's easy if you have somebody who's been there before.
Right.
Who's treaded that ground before, man, who's done those things.
Yeah.
And you get help, man. You get help. You know what I'm saying? Even if that person is mean or they reluctant, it doesn't matter. But then also, guess what? You read, man, you learn. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know how to do it, man. Read it. If I'm nowhere and there's nobody that's a teacher, man, I'm gonna get a book on it, man. And then with the internet and YouTube now, you don't want to go and I tell people
You have no problems finding
Look up
stuff.
some good stuff, man. Don't just look up all this. Look up some. It is so much. There's so much trash on here, but guess what? It is so much
educational
good stuff, man. And you're not limited in what you just learn stuff. Man.
But what do they do? They tell us that the Chinese have limits on the trash they people can see.
Right.
The trash that the TikToks have, they have limits on it.
Right.
We're unlimited. Now, what I like to do is, if America, like you said, independent is a word that puts us separate, which keeps us divided
Right.
and easy to conquer. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at the trash they're giving us total access to, we like the rats in the challenge when I was a kid. We say we got the water, the food, and the cocaine button. Water and food and cocaine. America's over here like cocaine.
Cocaine.
We don't need nothing but some cocaine
Until you die.
Until you die.
Yeah.
Instead of water and food, we making all the wrong choices.
Right.
But it goes back to something you said, addiction.
Yep.
Not being aware
Right.
of addiction.
Where it even come
You
from,
know.
how you get addicted, and not knowing, and then even being on those models, and like I said, the addiction model we talked about at the beginning. The addiction model. I grew up before I learned about counseling and about substance abuse. Is that I grew up on a moral model. The person is addicted because they should do better. They choose not to be with their kids. They choose not to be a good husband. They choose not to be a good wife. They just addicted. But then once I realized that your brain changes,
Right.
and the reason that you can get money, and the reason that we can go to these places, and the government pays for it because it has been researched that your brain actually changes, and that's what a disease is.
Right.
When your brain changes, and so your brain changes, and your body learns this thing. It learns this addiction, and it seeks that addiction. And what it does is basically like this. It's like your brain creates these pathways. They call it neural pathways.
Right.
But a pathway like this, when I was growing up in Meridian, it was this pathway in the back of our house. And we used to go back to the basketball goal. And over time, we just started wearing it out with just grass. And after a while, it became clay, and you go to the basketball goal. Now, my grandma's moved, and somebody else moved there. Nobody plays basketball. But if I go back there and buy that house where my grandma used to have, and I start back walking, guess what's going to happen? The pathway is going to be, it's never left, it's still there. And that's how it happens with your brain. And so you still have that pathway that leads me to my goal. Not only my regular goal, my basketball goal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how it is in addiction, is that even when a person stops using it, that pathway is still there. It's the pathway to pleasure. It makes me feel good. So guess what happened when I feel bad? What does my body want? It wants pleasure. And
That's true.
Now I got a choice to make. Now, if I haven't planned any other pathways with other things that I enjoy doing, then the only pathway I know when I'm really hurt or I'm really down or I'm really depressed or somebody dies is the pathway to that pleasure, and it's my drug addiction. And so if I don't learn about this thing, then I'm going to repeat it. And so what I'm talking about in awareness, it's the same way if you got somebody has cancer.
Right.
When I got cancer, okay, this is my enemy. So what the doctor does, he don't just say I'm treating, he brings you down and he tells you about this is cancer, this is the name of cancer, this is how it affects you, these are the different aspects of cancer, and this is how you deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we do with addiction. You come into a person, they tell you, this is how addiction works, this is what's going on. So now guess what? I'm aware of it.
And man, even though I tell people all the time, hey, I'm not that person who went and got the trophy the first time. Like, hey, sober for 15 years. Trophy. Ding! Ain't never missed a beat, never needed. Nope. Got the 3-year trophy, fell down drunk. 5-year trophy, fell down again, drunk. Right now, we working on some months. We done started this over. No trophies needed, people. None at all. I'm aware now a little bit more of how it affects me. But the awareness kept me going back to try again.
Seed was planted.
Yeah. It made me go back.
Because you knew. Because once you had that seed, my friend used to say, hey, we just planted seeds here.
Right.
You go to treatment and you learn how to deal with it, you know, seeds. So guess what? You know that, hey, if I need to get help, this is what I need to go back to.
Right.
What's worked for me in the past.
And I don't want to let this leave my mind. And I try to tell people this out. Well, I ain't never tried to tell people this. I don't think. I'm telling you now. I'm start telling you all the time. Important for me to remember is when you're trying to gain your sobriety, 30 days, 30. Now this is you got you here, science guy too on this one. That's how long it takes for alcohol to leave your body before you actually you know what I'm saying can start rebuilding those neural pathways, reconnecting and start becoming yourself again. You're not sober after a week of no drinking. You're not sober after 2 weeks. The reason you got all these attitude issues and you're becoming a whole nother person. And like you said, that pathway to pleasure is right here waiting.
Wide open.
And it's like, hey, you can get rid of all these stressful change. All this change can go away with a drink. And so many times that's where we go because we forget. It takes 30 days to get back to a point where that smile come back. You know, I was not happy quitting drinking.
Right.
I was trying to stay away from people because I knew
Irritable. Yeah.
I'm gonna be irritable. Right. So I tried to stay away from people for 30 days. And I even told people, don't be calling me, messing with me.
Yeah.
You know,
Everything irritable.
Yeah, I already know.
Right.
I don't want to get, I don't want to trip with y'all going through this. And once I made it past that, it was almost like, wow, new person. I feel good. I'm feeling better. My mind is clearing up. And I still know dangerous before 90 days.
100 days to change.
Yeah, but I'm better now.
Right.
Now I'm not craving it.
Right. And that light is slowly coming back on. And so now you're going to be, in 100 days, you'll be in your rational brain.
That one.
Yeah.
And so when you're trying to change, when you're going through that awareness, that waking up and knowing that, hey, I need to do something different, I just want to let you know, being somebody who went through it, it's not a walk in the park.
Most definitely not.
And especially the people you've been associating with, you're going to want to join that. You're going to feel like I ain't having no fun.
Right. Only pathway you know. It's good.
I ain't enjoying life no more. but you ain't forgetting stuff either.
Yeah. And what's your goal? And you got to have a goal that's so tangible. You need to have a goal. When I can tell people, they be like, well, I just want to feel better. No, you need to have a goal when you want to quit addiction that's so real, that's so personal, that's the thing that you see and that's the thing you're looking at. And people are like, well, I don't really have no goal. I said, your goal might be that I don't want to go to treatment no more. I don't want to be in jail no more. I don't want to be in drug court no more.
I'm not allowed to tell my goal.
Yeah. It gotta be, it gotta be something that you can see. It gotta be something that you can feel. It has to be something so real, and you gotta put emotion behind it because that's what we remember. Because if not, what I'm saying, it's like when a person get ready to go back to school. When you start having them late nights and stuff like that, you know what you're gonna do? And I don't want to go to school. I'm all right, I make enough money. I'm good. Because it's not to be. But you say, hey, I'm tired of listening to my boss. I'm tired of not having any choices. So when I make that goal and I can see myself having choices, I can see myself living better, I can see my kids being able to do more for my children, then that goal is what makes me get up and drive and go to school. That's what goals make me go to these meetings. That's what goal is when we do that. Because if not, it's just this dream. It's just a fantasy. It's something that can blow away. You know what I'm saying? And so
should they be realistic?
Yeah, you need to be realistic. The goal needs to be something that's realistic, something that's tangible, not something that is fleeting. People are like, well, I just want to do better. That's not a goal. That's not a goal. That's not a goal. You know what I'm saying? I just want to do better in school. Okay, so this is like I said, I used to talk to guys and they be like, well, I want to be a rapper. I want to be an NFL player. So when they tell me they want to be a rapper, I'm like, okay, let me see your book. Your notebook here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let me see your rhymes.
No
your
raps.
Rhymes ain't no raps in there. I want to play basketball. So how much you been pressed? I don't know. What's your 40-yard speed?
None of this.
I don't know. How often do you run? I don't know. It's a fantasy. You don't really want to do it. When you tell me that goal has different things behind it. I want to have a better marriage. Okay, how often do y'all eat out? How often do y'all have for physical intimacy? How often do y'all talk and have a conversation? What's your date night look like? You know what I'm saying? What are the little rituals that y'all do every day to ensure those things? What are the things that you're building? Because to build a championship team, it takes time. We have these things that we do. We have 1 hour of practice, we run, we have 1 hour after that practice. Everybody who shoots they shot. We have if you build championship team, you don't just become a championship team, you build them. You build these different structures. So when other people come in and out, they come into these structures.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's how you build. You build structures, man. For success.
Sounds like you're saying we need to start focusing on building stronger relationships.
Got to.
Like you kind of brought it up and we're gonna go and get on out of here because I know we both gotta.
Yeah, I got you.
The time is we can do this for a while, and I'm really enjoying this longer, non-timed version. However long it is. But I'm enjoying this a lot more rather than the rush.
Right.
But I don't know. You know how we'll get talking, and I'm like, wow. It seemed like it's so many things we can touch base on when it comes to relationships and addiction. But I was like, it feel like we need to build that team you're talking about, that championship team. We need to build that championship relationship.
Yeah.
It's not going to be oh, I love you, oh, so sweet, and we are attracted. We attracted.
What's that wear off?
Yeah, then we in there.
Right.
You don't quit the damn team because you didn't get the ring this year.
Right.
You didn't get the ring last year.
Right.
You didn't get it the year before. You went 5 years building your team, 5 strong players, and then you won 3 in a row.
Because you built a foundation, man.
Wasn't it Golden State did that?
Mm-hmm.
In this recent years.
You read it, yeah. Same way.
State.
Not only Golden State, man, I was looking at old things with the Celtics. That's how they did. The old Celtics, they can't. Back in the days, not even with Bird, but I'm talking about even before Bird with what's the guy name? Older guy back in the days. I can't remember.
McLean.
His black guy. Back in the
Bill
days.
Russell.
Yeah. I watched this thing on Netflix, man. Great story.
Yeah.
But it talks about that. That's how they did. You build these teams.
Build
them. And what happened is in relationships, we just kind of focus on, oh, I like that person, this person is physically attracted. We have these physical things. And what happened, we don't sit down and listen. Okay, how your mom, how's my dad, how you look at relationship, how you look at finance, how you look at trust. What are my foundations? Okay, these are the things that I can do. These are non-negotiable. Right. Okay, these are the things where it's a gray area. What can we work on? Okay, so how are we going to make sure these things are done?
Right.
Same with marriage, man. We need to figure out how it is. Do you believe in God? No, I don't believe in God. We need to talk about these different things because guess what? Those things, as the dust settle, those things are going to show up. You know what I'm saying? How you feel about drinking? How do you feel about kids? I don't want to have no kids. I want to have kids. These are things going to be contentious because if I'm set on having children and I like you and I marry you and you don't, I'm going to feel some kind of way about that. What we need to discuss, am I going to feel some kind of way? And so that's what happens. And so what happened was what? We're working these jobs. We're doing all these things. We want to have all this stuff. and then our spouse gets, or our person that we're with, they get the leftovers, and then it just goes, and over time you're getting closer and closer to the door. You close to the door, and so y'all right at the door every day, and then y'all becoming y'all thing where y'all just got this. Y'all are just roommates.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? Eventually, somebody just pop on out the door and don't even realize it happened, and because we don't work on it. And then guess what? Not only that happens seasons. When me and my wife got married 25 years ago, we totally different people.
Right.
Than we were then. And we don't keep on knowing each other and talking to each other and discussing with each other. We don't realize when them changes come and go, or we don't work through them. And what happened? We just end up with this team, man. It's not together. It's not. You hear people like, but that ain't the Showtime Lakers. Yeah, because the team has changed, man. The team has changed. It's not the same.
It's not the same. And I think sometimes and this is just me just, flashing back through life, I guess. Mm-hmm. Are we really trying to build a championship team, or should we let that idea go? Because championship team, we always associate with a winner, who's number one, the victor. Now, we all can't be winners. We can't all get the trophy.
Right.
But if we all are in marriages, or we all are in relationships, instead of us trying to build teams, which I think, again, I have to look at by learning the power that comes with these words, is we're building teams that compete. Teams compete, but relationships don't compete.
But they compete with everything else.
Community don't compete, do it?
They don't compete, but see, it's not about competing. It's about the world is going to come at you. You have to be a team.
Yeah.
It's not the championship.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm speaking about it more along the lines of if we're always thinking team, then we need to be winning something.
Right.
So my marriage needs to look better than your marriage.
Yeah, if you look at
feel
that
me?
way. Yeah, if you look at that way. Yeah.
And look at what we're dealing with right now. We got
it's a fake, man.
We got a fake world out
here. That's why that internet, and then it's fake, and that's not real, because me and my wife never take pictures. You probably ever see a picture with me and my wife together. This is an intimate picture that we got. It's on my cell phone, on her cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Because
we need to see more love out here that's real compared to look at me.
You know what real love is? You know what real love is, man? It's so boring, man. And people don't understand. But me and my wife just is happy, man. She'll sit on that couch. I'll sit on the couch. Want some? She's like, no, you want some? It's the boringest thing. But it's
on date night, that's when we need to see happy couple.
But it's so comfortable, man. It's so and a lot of times we think, because we watch TV, we think that it's supposed to look a certain way.
And then you get it right. You don't do that.
Yeah, and it don't look that certain way. And it's not true, man.
Yeah.
And it's so, but we grow up with all these. Men grow up with. I tell people, I said, men, we both have fantasy relationships. Men grow up with this fantasy. They sit there and get caught up in porn early, so they think the woman's supposed to be like this, do these certain things. Ladies grow up watching a lot of times romance shows, or they go and watch Snow White and all those things like that. So they think every man supposed to be Prince Charming. Yeah. And so we kind of grow up with these fantasies, and we kind of look at it, and we don't realize that people are flawed, man.
I'm gonna raise my hand like you did.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Not this dude.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm gonna raise it. I'm gonna say. I'm doing this because this is the funny part here. I don't want no woman to do that porn stuff.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah.
For me, that's porn. Yeah. That's not the wifey material for me. And they say, well, why you watch porn then? Well, because I'm addicted to porn. This is just the honest part. Is like I'm single.
Yeah.
And nothing to run out here and make bad decisions with my life, and that keeps me from making terrible decisions. I'm gonna just say that. Yeah. And those videos I already made. It's like the monk said. If you go to somebody's house and you're a vegan and all they have is meats, those animals are already dead. You're not going to stop them from already being dead by eating some meat, and that's all they have. Okay. He respectfully eat, leave, and get back to your normal diet. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So when he was saying that, I was like, well, I'm not finna say that applies to everything, but I will say those videos are already made. I'm not helping you make that video. Okay. And that video does help me from going out here in this world and making bad decisions because we know how men are when we are extremely unsatisfied sexually.
It's a Pandora's box, man.
It is
a
slippery slope.
It is very much a Pandora's box, and I talk to so many guys that deal with the addiction part, and it's so.
I ain't gonna say I'm addicted.
Yeah, but it's a slippery slope.
I'm not gonna say addicted.
It's an addiction, and it's
strategic.
And I can talk about that. I can sit on here and talk about pornography addiction, man, for a long time. And like I said, with men, it's in the 90%. It's in the 90%. It's in the 90-something% of.
What if it's? I'm not gonna say addiction. I'm gonna say using wisely to keep me from making. I'm aware.
I tell people the same thing. I say, how many times have you been able to use it wisely?
I'm finna give up some numbers, but no, I'm gonna say using wisely, and here's why. I'm gonna justify this. This is therapy, damn it. This is what we do. Now look here, in the world I live in, not sure about the world you live in, half of these young ladies out here got on stretch pants every day.
Oh.
They are out here showing it all, whereas me being the dude that like the ladies, I'm seeing stretch pants out here. And if I went out here in this world, fully loaded, I'm making mistakes, bad judgment calls. I'm judging by appearance. I'm making decisions on what my desires and my your lowest part of you is wanting sex.
Right.
And that's because I'm being tempted in every way.
Right.
So protection for me is like putting on, my blockers is like.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
But you're going out there because it's still out there, and so you're looking at it for that
nothing
reason.
I can do.
But this is what I tell the same way.
Can't make them get dressed.
But also what we're doing too is we're creating pathways, even with pornography. And so, you know what I'm saying? Let's be honest, and since I care about y'all, I was going to tell you the truth because I know how much damage it can do. It's because we still creating these pathways.
I ain't creating no kids.
Yeah, you're not creating kids. And so this is how I tell people about any kind of addiction. Any kind of addiction like this, Pertis. None of us would do anything that's addictive if it did not give us some kind of reward.
Of course it's a reward.
Okay, it's a reward. You know what I'm saying? So everything we do, man, and I'm not saying that, man, I haven't battled with stuff and you know what I'm saying, but it is most definitely, and it's some long battles, man. So I could talk about that for a year. But going back, we getting on the rabbit hole, man. And so that could be a whole show. 10 weeks show because man, it's what I talk to guys about. They be judging people who were like on drugs or alcohol, something like that, and they be like, well, they need to do better than that. I said, well, I tell you what, man, let me see your cell phone.
Right.
And then you know what? I said, if you think that you can talk about people, let me see your cell phone. No one gives me their cell phone. Because I know that the numbers of men who look at pornography, man, is so high.
It's 100%.
Oh, it's probably 105. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that's how I tell people, man. I said addiction is real, man. And pathways are real. Changing your brain is real. It's a reason why pornography starts so early and they go at us at such an early age because it gets us into these things. But all those things, when we get married, we bring all that stuff to our marriage. I'm not saying we can control it or whatever, but we got that stuff, man. So we got layers. We multi-layers.
We gotta be more understanding with each other.
Yeah, man. And we gotta, and that's what we have to do, man. We have to seek to try to understand. Seek to try to understand, then be understood, and then also give empathy, man, and grace. And that's empathy is just saying, hey, empathy is saying, hey, I can understand how it is in your shoes. You're not saying I sympathize and I cry. It's just saying, hey, if I was in that person's shoes, maybe I would have made that decision too. If I was by myself, if I wasn't doing that stuff, and I was being tempted every day, maybe that would happen. Now, I'm not saying I agree with it, but maybe I would still do those same things. You know what I'm saying? And so that's empathy, man. It's not judging. It's never judging. Right. And I think a lot of times people thinking that's judging. It's just saying, hey, this is how I do. Anything I correct, man, and even if I'm firm or I'm assertive, it's always in love. Because I care. Definitely. That's what the Bible said. God correct those people he loved. He chastises he loved. And a lot of people are like, well, man, no, if he love you, he is. He don't care about you. I'm not chastising nobody else's kids. Somebody else's kids out there tearing up stuff. I might say, look at them kids tearing up stuff. But if my kid, I'm like, who was that? So. Oh, now I'm gonna chastise.
I'm chastising them all. I'm like,
so you're different. You're gonna chastise everybody. You don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying? But me, I'm not chastising that person. Now, but if I see that person, this is the difference of me and that part is that. But if I see that person, I see that little girl, if she's finna ride in that street, man, I'm finna say something. I see a little girl sitting out there. I remember seeing a little girl sitting outside one time with a little dress on. I was like, man, I said, I'm gonna go knock on the door. I said, man, you know they kidnapping little girls like that. Why is your daughter out here with your? Oh, I can hear her. I was like, no, you need to get her in the house. Because I care. You know, when you care about people, man, you had to go beyond some things that might get you. You know, she might say something or go off on me, but I was like, man, I'm not finna see this little girl on the news with no Amber
because I care. And when God put it in your spirit to say something,
I just gotta do it, man.
Go ahead and say it. and then let things happen the way they're supposed
do
to
what it's
happen.
gonna do.
But you don't want to, like you said, you don't want to not say something.
Right. And I got to
And
see on
then
that
later on at night, you at the house like,
Yeah.
little girl was kidnapped, and
Right.
here's her picture.
Yeah.
Recently taken. Her mom was taking her picture, and she was outside,
Yeah.
and she like, hold up, that's the same dress, same. And
Girl, and I could have told you something about it, man. It just
Right.
sometimes you just got to get past that to a point where you just got to deal with things like that. But yeah, man.
we gotta love one another better, people. We
Yes,
gotta
sir.
do better, and I could do this all day. I know I think we kind of done it today.
Yeah.
How you feel? I think we
Feel
done
good,
done
man.
it,
And like I
man.
said, what I like about it is that we don't always have to agree with everything. It's about
Right.
us being aware, man. We counseling, we talking, we getting perspective. And if you care about people, man, you talk to them.
Right.
You talk to them, man.
Got
You
to.
discuss, and guess what we do? We planting seeds. We creating dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
It's about having dialogue, and then dialogue like that gets you. Now you want to go look up some stuff I said. We want to look up some stuff. That's how you get more stuff and you
Right.
learn, man.
And that unity from the other sides of the community,
Yeah.
we learn more and grow more.
Right.
And if what we were just talking about, I don't know what part of the conversation, but the older people who are still learning and growing, physically active, doing a lot better than the ones who just sitting there with the remote control giving up.
Right.
Think about how much more we have to learn once we cross over that train track.
Right.
And now, when you thought you were, grown, like say I'm 50 right now.
Yeah.
Say I cross over on that train track and I start seeing there's a whole nother world to learn. And then if I cross over here on this side of the side of the city, whole nother world to learn. And if I get another friend over here, and if we all cool, maybe that's how life was extended so many years in the past. It's because we never had a reason to die. Adam 900 and some years old, Methuselah's, those 300-year-old people in the past may not be false because they weren't divided. They let's just say on Pangea, and they all different colors and all races and learning, and they all growing, and then they got real good, and they tried to build that tower, and God was like, I'm gonna separate y'all, and that was continental, and not as much as we think small version, but it was a continental shift to bring us to let's see what y'all can do now in working to get back to that point where you were great. You were great together.
Together, we're better together. Man.
You were better together.
Right.
And then you got to be a gang of narcissist assholes. And I had to separate
you.
you.
Divide and conquer, man. Yeah, you divide.
So, hey, I don't know. Was we narcissists? We was working together, and we weren't narcissists then, were we?
I don't think so. Man.
So maybe that was.
There's always a couple, man. Through that.
Maybe I had to research that one. Maybe that was something else that happened to us, and we were too good.
Yeah.
We wanted to check on that one.
Yeah.
We might have to research on that one and find out why God decided to do us like that when we were actually working together.
Yeah, because they wanted to ascend to God, be God. That's what they did.
That's the problem. though. We was Lucifer.
That's really what narcissist to me is. Anyway, they wanted to be together to be one narcissist. They wanted to take over.
So you said they were trying to be one gigantic narcissist.
Yeah, they said they were taking God and take over the throne. That was their goal. They said they was gonna go.
Wow, now
well, that's what they said. That's what happened. They want to go and we're gonna kick God off the throne. That's what they said. They go. 'Cause he ain't doing things like the way we want to do them.
Yeah, God was like, boop. And that was like not even the real hand, because would have thumped the planet off the map. But he just sent a little hand down and thumped their asses into separation. So hey guys, we're gonna end on that funny story, and we're gonna definitely reschedule another session of the Journey into Mental Health. However, I am looking very forward to Mr. Werner bringing himself up in here with his own show and his own guest, doing his own thing, and giving that message to you guys the way he wants to bring it to you, in a totally different format. So hopefully real soon,
Okay.
like next weekend if you feel like it,
Yeah.
or sometime next week if you feel like it,
Yeah.
let me know.
Okay.
And we're going to get you set up with your own backgrounds and your own everything.
Yeah.
And, you bring in who you want to, man. Talk about what you want to.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important that I keep my journey in mental health going.
Yeah.
And you always welcome guests with me.
Sounds good, man.
You know. And we're going to keep bringing it to you guys. We hope you guys keep watching. We thank you for tuning in today and for every other show we've had. And again, here at We Believe Digital Studios, Jackson, Mississippi, here on Livingston Road, 1-800-492-5186. If you have any media needs, commercials, shoot a podcast, or film an event, give us a call. We'll be glad to see you guys and discuss it. So again, Mr. Werner, thank you again. Let them know. Let them know how they can get in touch with you or somebody. Because don't call me.
Yeah.
Call him. Reach out to him if you guys would like to have some assistance from him or a recommendation from him.
Yeah. You can contact me I'm on thriveworks.com. That's a site where I do therapy on. I also work in community mental health. Like I said, if you have any kind of addiction issues in Vicksburg, okay, and that's in 3442 Wisconsin Avenue. And we're always seeing people there. But I do marriage and family, and I do behavioral health. I do mental health counseling with ThriveWorks, and also I'm available for like just regular consulting as well on my personal side. Okay, all right.
What's your personal site? Let them know.
My personal site, that's
make them Google it.
That's it's buxtonconsulting.com. I also got a book on marriage if you want to.
So we're gonna need to spell that for these.
Buxton,
right?
BUXTON consulting.com.
Right.
Yeah, and also like I said, if you're anybody interested, I do have like a little book on marriage. It's called
I just bought that book.
Yeah, 23 reasons your marriage or relationship sucks. Okay, and how to fix it. It's not just leaving it there, and it's only like $10, man. $10 ebook, $10, little small book, but it's some good things in there. 23 good reasons to make you aware so that you can fix that. That's on Amazon.com.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, I'm not gonna read the book because I'm not in a relationship, but as a supporter, I did buy it. I'll just put it on the shelf until I get in a relationship.
You gonna pull it out?
You
gonna pull it back?
You know what? You know what I'm gonna do?
Huh?
I'm gonna read it before I get in a relationship.
That sounds even better.
To keep it from sucking.
Proactive. That's
good.
Hey man, that's great.
I'm gonna beat the sucking. No, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Don't let it suck.
You're not gonna let it suck.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat.
Because he's gonna fix it.
I'm gonna fix it before the sucking start.
Right. Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, right?
Something
there.
like that.
Hey.
Something like that.
Hey, I had something else I was gonna go out with, but we just gonna go out of here and say, hey man, thank you again for joining me.
Appreciate it,
on
man.
this
I really
wonderful
enjoyed it,
man. I think this is
awesome. Man.
I have really enjoyed this. This has been hilarious, but also informative, educational. I've learned today, and it almost feels like I got a free therapy session. So I'd love to keep talking, and we probably could, but we're going to hold on to some of this information that Werner has for another show, and we will see you guys next time if you have time, and we do definitely appreciate you joining us today. Thank you.